Bonjour! I'm Penelope with StockFocus.com, and today we're exploring Lyon, France, not just another French city. It was ranked first among major French cities for quality of life, beats out many peers in livability surveys, and is known globally as France's gastronomic capital with legendary food markets and wine regions nearby. If you learn nothing else from this video, you will at least leave with more respect for Paul Bocuse. And if you have not heard of him, we will fix that too. It's also one of the country's top business tourism destinations outside Paris, combining strong infrastructure with rich culture. If you're considering retiring in France but want something more affordable and culturally rich than Paris, Lyon deserves a hard look. In this video, we're giving you a practical, ground-level analysis of retiring in Lyon in 2026, including cost of living, healthcare, visas, neighborhoods, daily life, and what you can realistically expect as a retiree. This is not a travel highlight reel. It's a retirement reality check. Let's dive in. How affordable is Lyon? Retiring in Lyon can be affordable compared to Paris and other major French cities. While it's not the cheapest city in France, many everyday costs are well within reach for a comfortable retiree lifestyle. Let's break this down by the monthly numbers. For a comfortable, middle-class retirement in Lyon, housing is the biggest variable. A one-bedroom apartment typically ranges from about 800 to 900 euros per month. If you move outside the city center, rents can be much lower, especially in areas like Villeurbanne or Villeurbanne. Markets and stores throughout the city offer fresh produce and local goods at reasonable prices. Depending on your snacking and cooking, you are looking at 250 to 400 euros per month. Healthcare, which we will get into more detail in a moment, will range from 30 to 350 euros per month, depending on factors we will discuss. Having a car as optional for public transportation is efficient and well integrated. A monthly pass will cost around 60 to 70 euros. Wi-Fi and mobile, depending on how fast you need the speed, will range from approximately 50 to 70 euros per month. Utilities, electricity, water, heating, usually average around 150 to 200 euros per month, depending on usage. Dining and leisure is purely optional, but averages range from 350 to 600 euros per month unless you get hooked on some of the 16 Michelin-starred restaurants in Lyon. Bottom line, depending on your lifestyle, a reasonable retiree budget, including housing, food, utilities, transport, and modest leisure, could range from 1,690 to 2,640 euros per month for a comfortable retirement life in Lyon. Lyon through the ages, a historic European capital. Lyon is one of France's most historically rich cities. Its origins go back to Roman times, and today the city blends ancient architecture with a thriving modern cultural scene. Lyon's historic center around Place Bellecourt is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Europe's largest pedestrian squares. The city's layout between the Rhone and Saone rivers, the Renaissance streets of Lyon, and the silk workers' neighborhoods showcase centuries of French history. Lyon has been a major French cultural, economic, and gastronomic hub for hundreds of years, known especially for its role in the silk trade and later as a center of banking and industry. Each district, from the elegant Presqu'île to the hillside of Fourvière, tells a different chapter of the city's long and fascinating story. Health insurance for a foreign retiree on a long-stay visa in France in 2026 involves a two-part process: purchasing initial private insurance for your visa application and early residency, followed by potentially enrolling in the public system and supplementing with a private top-up policy. Mutuelle. You must secure private health insurance that covers the entire duration of your initial long-stay visa, typically 12 months, before you arrive in France. This policy is required for your visa application and must meet specific criteria. Minimum coverage of 30,000 euros for medical expenses, hospitalization, and repatriation. Validity throughout the entire Schengen area, and finally, coverage for pre-existing conditions, recommended to avoid issues. The cost for this initial private insurance ranges from approximately 30 euros to over 350 euros per month, depending on your age, health, and level of coverage. After residing in France for at least 3 consecutive months, you are generally eligible to apply for the state public healthcare system, Protection Universelle Malade (PUMA), via your local CPAM office. Access to PUMA is funded through Social Security contributions based on your income. Pensions may be subject to a 6.5% cotisation depending on tax treaties. New for 2026, a new annual minimum health contribution, estimated to be 25 to 50 euros per month, is being introduced for non-EU visitor visa holders, including American retirees, as a prerequisite for affiliation. The public system typically reimburses around 70% of medical costs. To cover the remaining 30% in other services like dental or optical care, most residents purchase a supplementary mutual. The cost of a mutual for a retiree can range from 23 to over 200 euros per month, depending on the desired level of coverage. For US Citizens, Medicare does not provide coverage in France, and it's essential to have a policy that covers the entire long stay period. For the most accurate and up-to-date options, consider consulting with a specialist insurance broker like Fab French Insurance or Mondesur. To retire in France, most U.S. citizens apply for a long stay visa, visa de long séjour, followed by a residence permit, proof of sufficient stable income. Pension, Social Security, investment income, health insurance, and accommodations are required. Tax considerations. France taxes residents on worldwide income if you stay more than 183 days a year. There is a U.S.-France tax treaty to mitigate double taxation, but French rates and rules for wealth and income can differ significantly from the U.S., so expert tax advice is recommended before you relocate. If Lyon is France's culinary capital, Paul Bocuse was its mayor for life, elected not by ballots but by appetite. Born just outside Lyon in 1926, Bocuse didn't reinvent French cooking by tearing it down. He did something far more radical. He simplified it. At a time when haute cuisine was heavy, formal, and buried under sauces, Bocuse helped pioneer Nouvelle cuisine. Lighter dishes, cleaner flavors, and ingredients that were finally allowed to taste like themselves. His restaurant, Le Behorzo Pont du Colon, just north of Lyon, held 3 Michelin stars continuously from 1965 until his death in 2018. One of the longest runs in culinary history, chefs didn't just admire Bocuse, they measured themselves against him. And then there were the dishes. Bocuse's most famous creation, soup aux truffes noires, was made for a French president, a puff pastry-sealed bowl of beef broth, foie gras, and black truffles that became a global symbol of French gastronomy. His reverence for ingredients showed in dishes like Bressy chicken with cream sauce, where technique never overshadowed the bird itself. And in Lyonnaise classics such as quenelle de brochet, delicate pike dumplings in a light sauce, elevated without losing their regional soul, Bocuse was also a teacher in spirit. Generations of chefs trained under him or were inspired by him, including many of today's most celebrated names. He turned Lyon into a pilgrimage site, not for tourists, but for cooks. And yes, if he feels familiar, that's because he is. The character of Chef Gusteau in Pixar's Ratatouille was directly inspired by Paul Bocuse. The tall hat, the philosophy, the belief that anyone could cook if they respected food. Even after his passing, Bocuse's presence is everywhere in Lyon. From the city's bouchons to Les Halles de Lyon, Paul Bocuse, the famous covered market named in his honor, where locals still shop for cheese, charcuterie, and bread, as if nothing needs improving. Because in Lyon, thanks to Bocuse, cooking was never about trends. It was about doing simple things perfectly, and doing them again tomorrow. Want to estimate whether Lyon fits your retirement budget? Visit StockFocus.com to use our free retirement calculator and interactive city cost map, personalized for your income, savings, and lifestyle goals. Retiring in Lyon offers history, food culture, urban convenience, and French joie de vivre, all with costs that can be sensible compared to other Western European capitals. If you're serious about retiring abroad, start by researching your visa options, planning a scouting trip, and crunching the numbers early. Lyon might just be the perfect mix of culture, comfort, and everyday living. I'm Penelope from StockFocus.com. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what city you want analyzed next. Au revoir!